the inner fortress every morning before the world remembers our name. Before the noise of demand and expectation rises like a storm against the walls of our attention, we are given a quiet and terrible gift. We wake up, and in that moment before thought rushes in, before emotion awakens its familiar storms, we stand at the gates of a citadel that few ever learn to guard, the inner fortress. Most spend their lives defending their bodies, their reputations, their ambitions. But the true stronghold is not made of stone. It is not protected by wealth, status, or applause. It is built in silence, and it is either ruled or it is conquered. As Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Each morning, we return to this truth. We abandon it. The first act, waking into war the day, does not begin peacefully. It begins with an invasion, not from the outside, but from within. Before our feet touch the ground, whispers gather. You are tired. You are overwhelmed. You deserve ease today. You cannot face what awaits you. These are not thoughts. They are breaches in the wall, and if we do not recognize them, we become their servants. The world teaches us to conquer cities, markets, opportunities, but we begin elsewhere. We conquer interpretation. As Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Morning is the testing ground of this reaction. Do we rise as rulers of our inner world, or as its prisoners? The second act, naming the enemy the fortress, does not fall in a day. It collapses through quiet surrender. Resentment enters first dressed as justice. Fear follows disguised as caution. Anger comes masked as strength. Despair arrives posing as realism. We do not defeat these forces by denying their existence. We defeat them by refusing to crown them. As Seneca warned, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Every morning we inspect the gates. We ask, is this fear or foresight? Is this anger or wounded pride? Is this sadness or self-pity? The untrained mind absorbs emotion like dry earth absorbs rain. But the disciplined mind examines it, separates it, names it, and in naming it, weakens it. The third act, remembering what is ours. The world is not ours. Events are not ours. Outcomes are not ours. Reputation is not ours. Time is barely ours. But one thing remains: judgment. As Epictetus insisted, some things are in our control and others not. This is not merely philosophy. It is architecture, the foundation of the fortress. Every morning we rebuild this foundation by asking, what can I shape today? What must I endure? What must I release? We do not demand control over fate. We demand sovereignty over response. And in that sovereignty, a strange freedom emerges. The fourth act, practicing voluntary hardship. The fortress grows weak in comfort. Soft walls crumble under pressure. So each morning we deny ourselves something small: ease, indulgence, delay, not as punishment, but as preparation. Seneca once advised practicing poverty not because he glorified suffering, but because he understood terror. When we rehearse discomfort, we dissolve its tyranny. When we greet difficulty voluntarily, we remove its power to intimidate us. So we rise when we want to linger. We act when we want to postpone. We begin when we want to avoid. The fortress is strengthened not by victories, but by resistance. The fifth act, reframing the assault by midday. The world will strike. Insults, disappointments, injustice, delay, misunderstanding. We do not hope to avoid them. We expect them. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly." Not to grow bitter, but to remain unshaken. Every attack becomes material. Every difficulty becomes training. Every betrayal becomes instruction. The fortress does not demand a peaceful world. It demands a resilient inhabitant. The sixth act, reclaiming the narrative destructive emotion, does not destroy us through intensity. It destroys us through repetition. Anger becomes identity. Fear becomes expectation. Sadness becomes personality. But each morning offers a narrative reset. We are not what we felt yesterday. We are not what we feared last night. We are not what wounded us last year. We are what we choose to govern today. Modern interpreter Ryan Holiday echoes this ancient truth. You control how you respond. That's where your power is. So we do not suppress emotion. We interrogate it. We reshape it. We refuse to let passing storms redraw permanent maps. The seventh act, standing watch the fortress, is never complete. There is no final victory, no permanent peace treaty with chaos. Each morning, the gates must be checked. Each morning, the walls must be repaired. Each morning, the ruler must take the throne again. And we remember, strength is not loud. Control is not visible. Mastery is not announced. It is practiced quietly, daily, relentlessly. The shared oath we walk this path together, not as those who have conquered emotion, but as those who refuse to be conquered by it. Not as those untouched by anger, but as those who refuse to be ruled by it. Not as those without fear, but as those who choose action despite it. The world will continue to shake. Events will continue to surprise. Loss will continue to visit. But inside, a fortress stands, not against pain, not against uncertainty, but against surrender. And every morning we return to its gates and whisper, "Today, nothing enters without my consent. Today, no impulse becomes command. Today, no storm becomes ruler. Today, the fortress stands, and so do we."